Everyone, good evening. We are doing a classic fill, or a lot of these are down to nothing because she had gone quite a while, and so there was a little bit of lifting. Some of them you can see there's still gel there, but she had a little bit of lifting. She tends to be a little bit more of a lifter, so this is going to give you guys a little bit more of a visual on what to do on a new set, or someone comes in and they need a repair. So I've gone ahead and prepped her cuticles and done all that, and because she is a lifter, I do prime her with both kinds of primer. So I'm going to use your standard no lift primer here, and that's going to microscopically etch the nail, as Tom Holcomb once told me. So I always use a really thin brush, and I'm going to dab it on just the surface here and then just on my towel. I don't want it to be flooding the nail as I apply it. Just going to put it on the nail and let it dehydrate the nail really well, and it's going to prepare the nail, and it's something that's really helpful with lifters, is to really get that dehydrated. So she tends to run a little bit oily, and she does go a month most of the time. So she works a lot. She works in the food industry, so we want to make sure that that's going to start drying out. You're just going to go ahead and switch to the next hand. And brushing this on, letting it start to dehydrate. And so if you go to put it on and it just floods the whole cuticle, you've got way too much on. You want it to kind of go where you're putting it, and that's so that you know you're not putting too much on at once. If you're putting too much on, you can risk some future overexposure or allergy or something to the product, so you want to make sure you're not overdoing it. Alright, so we're going to let that dry. I'm going to move straight into a Fix-It, which is your typical sticky primer. And as you guys can see, some of her nails aren't even chalky yet, which really will tell you that she tends to run oily. So someone whose nails don't turn chalky really fast, you're going to find those clients are the ones that you're going to see the most lifting on. And if she were a new client, like this one's totally dry, ready to go. If she were a new client and it was taking a long time for it to dry out, I might actually go ahead and prime her twice just to make sure it's as dried out as possible. But you're not going to need to typically with a client that's a continuing client. Okay, so now this is turned chalky on the whole surface of the nail. So I'm just going to apply this. Again, I am dabbing the product. So I'm dipping into my bottle and then I'm dabbing onto a towel. Because the same with this, you don't want to risk any overexposure or too much product. You want to just go onto the natural nail. It doesn't have to go onto the whole nail, so I know that there's gel all through here, so I don't need to brush it on the entire nail. I can just put it on where the new growth is. Or if I've removed a lot of product, you can put it on the entire surface of the nail. Sometimes I just find it easier if there's only just a little bit left after I've removed some lifting to just give a fresh start to the nail. This one you can see there's just a little bit there left. But they were grown out probably to here when she came in, so after you push back cuticles and stuff, it's lots to do. So I want to make sure I'm getting all the way on the side walls with this Fix-It. This is going to be a good bond for your nails. So this is my one that I'm going to be repairing. Okay, so after I've done that, I'm going to do this with classic gel. I do find that I get the least amount of lifting with two different combinations. So I'm either going to use OptiBond and the Options Crystal Clear for a lifter if they wear them short and they have really flexible nails. But her nails are actually quite hard on the end. So instead of the Crystal Clear, I'm going to go ahead and use natural. If someone had really flexible natural nails, just that really paper thin natural nail, I would actually use the OptiBond and the Crystal Clear just because they tend to need a little bit more adhesion on that free edge, or they tend to get some separation. She doesn't get any lifting on the free edge. That's not where her lifting is. It's just really just at the cuticle from oils and that kind of a thing. So this is OptiBond. I'm just going to brush it down over the whole surface of the nail. You don't have to scrub it in the nail, just brush it on. I'm using my 106 brush. It's flat brush. I use it all the time. It is my favorite brush for most services. Okay, go ahead and put that in the light, please. She's going to go right on in. And this is a 30-second cure in an LED light or a 2-minute cure in a UV light. So, trick number 1 is when you are dealing with the second hand and you have a repair, I typically build my extensions with 2 steps. So I don't do just 1 coat of clear on the whole nail because it's typically too much gel to handle at one time when you're building a whole extension. It's much easier to do it in 2 steps. So even though I just put my bonding gel on there, this is all gel right here that's still there because she broke it from the tip down. And I'm actually going to build my extension out in the same step. The reason is then I don't have to wait for the light for the second step because I'm only going to put 1 coat on everything else. So now when I go put the 1 coat on this, I'm going to be caught up. I'm not going to have to do this 1 nail and go back. So it's a really good time saver for the world, you know, in the real world because you're working in the salon and you want to figure out ways to save time. Put this extension part on first. And then I can go through and when I'm doing my second coat on all of the nails or the first coat on these nails, it becomes the second coat on this nail. So you get all of those done in 1 step and this goes in 1 step as well. So go ahead on in and I'm going to freeze cure. I don't need that closed. I'm going to freeze cure that hand just a couple of times just because I don't want that layer of natural on her thumb to get too warm. So this is just natural. This is what I call the 30-day manicure, or for some they can call it a fill, but it's just a very thin layer of hard gel. And I am going to just freeze that. 1, okay. And I typically turn it on and off between nails. So I'll do 1 nail, freeze it, do 1 nail, freeze it. Now typically I'm not freezing the other hand because I don't have any gel on it. Because I have that repair, that's why I'm freezing it on this hand. You guys can see where she had bumped this one right there on that stress area. It's a little bit red. So that one probably lifted because it had had a little bit of a bang. And if you're looking at the line of light and you can see where it's a little bit squiggly there, then you can take it, once you've applied gel to the whole surface of the nail, then you can string a little bit right over here. Now, question is, how do I decide between classic or performance gel? For a lot of people, they have no choice in the decision because they're only using an LED light. So if you're only using an LED light, you're going to only be using performance or the OptiBond kind of crystal clear combination. For those of you who have a hybrid light or you're still using a UV light, I typically go with, if someone is a lifter, I'll move from performance to classic. I prefer the performance just on an everyday client because it's faster to apply. It goes on a little bit thinner and it's just quicker and it cures quicker. So if someone comes in and they don't seem to be oily and I'm just doing a quick, 30-day manicure, I'll probably go with Adhere and Enhance first every time. But if they come back and I notice they have a little bit lifting or they want to grow their nails longer, I'll typically switch them over to OptiBond and Natural. I just find that the Natural, for people that wear their nails longer, has a little bit better results for me. Some people really like Balance instead of Natural, and that's the LED gel that is a little bit thicker than your Enhance, and that's fine as well. But since we came out with the UV lamp, the hybrid lamp. Since we came out with the hybrid lamp, I've really enjoyed going back to Natural. It's the gel that I've used for over 13 years since I started using accents, and it's my favorite. I just find I have the best results with it. So the reason I just dragged a little bit up there is because there's a little bit of a divot, and once I've applied the gel to the whole surface of the nail, then you can fill in anything. So now I'm just going to double check these and see that it's good where I want it. This has a little bit of bulk right here on the end. Sorry, I'm out of frame. A little bit of bulk on the end, so I'm just going to pull any of that off. I always check the ends right before I go in the light because I'm not going to be finish filing, so I want to make sure I don't have anything going on. All right, go ahead on in, and I'm just going to turn that on and off real quick, and it's going to start cooking right away. So this one has started curing. You can hear that? Click, click, click. It means it's already curing really well. So now I'm just going to do the same on this hand. And I just pillow around the cuticle, and then I just gloss it over the top. You almost want to think of this coating as like a thick gloss. If you're dragging your bristles across and they're flaring like this, you're pressing too hard. You just want to glide it over the top, and then I just drag off the end. So when you look down the barrel, you can see how thin that application is. It should stay nice and thin. You don't want it to be really thick because it's the balance of this hard gel and the soft gel that I'm going to put on top that makes these really, really strong. So it's unusual that people break them, but after a month, did you bang that one into something? Yes.
Probably something at work.
Probably something at work. So breaks happen, but not too often. Oh, I forgot to freeze it. Hold on. Freeze. I was thinking too much and not doing. That happens. So again, glossing it over the nail, straight down, going down the side walls, making sure that I've got the whole nail covered. And my clients are choosing between the Luxio or the options colors. Either one is fine. If someone, I saw a picture of another nail tech posting that their clients keep getting cracks in the corners, and not just the product, like their whole, I don't know what product it was that she was using, but the whole corners of a couple of their clients' nails, they just always, doesn't matter what they do, they always keep breaking the corners of their nails off. And I've had clients like that, and I can tell you that 9 times out of 10, it's because their natural nails are too flexible for the hardness of gel you're using. So if you have a client who's breaking the corners of their nail, including the gel, the whole corner of their nail off, try to go to a more flexible gel. So if I had a client like that, I would say, let's put you into a little bit more flexible of a gel, and I would put them in OptiBond and the Options Crystal Clear, or even the Options Clear, which is a little bit more flexible than the Crystal Clear. And by doing that, you can help eliminate that. They just need more flexibility in their nail with that. So I'm putting this product on here, and I can already tell that I'm going to need to finish file a little bit more on this nail than I usually do, because I did put quite a bit on her tip. But I'm going to get it as smooth as I can so I can do as little finish filing as I can on this nail. But I definitely put a little bit more than I usually do on that tip. All right, I'm just going to double check the rest of these. A little bit over here on the side, so I'm going to wipe that right out. Make sure this is perfectly smooth on the side. Okay, go on in. And I didn't let that last nail cure, the last hand cure all the way, so I'm letting it do that now. And I'm going to go ahead and get her colors out. So if you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave them at the bottom of the video. Otherwise, I shall see you next time. I'm probably going to be doing some art tonight, so you guys can come in and check later and see what I'm doing with art. Thanks.